Welcome in, bitches. We don't know what episode this is. We've spent 10 minutes trying to do the math on it. Didn't add up. So, hey,
Yo.
15, 14, maybe 16, 17. We'll do the math later. Anyways, welcome in for another installment of Short Legs, Big Rage. As you can see, Corgi is in house. We got Joey here too, not via Discord. Hopefully, our sounds a lot fucking better today. Because if not, I'm going back home and I'm done with this
That's
shit.
it.
That's it. Back to Winnipeg. But anyways, so today me and Joe are going to talk about fighting games. And we're talking some retro games. We're not going to go through the whole gamut of them, but we're going to talk about some of the most popular growing up. So, we've got our Street Fighters, we got Tekken, we got Mortal Kombat, and a couple others that Joe have picked that pretty questionable on my behalf. But he's the gamer, I'm the mouth. Let's make another episode, guys. So, Joe, get us
Yes,
going. Talk to us about the era of fighting games.
Yeah, so we all know, well, I say we all know, but people our age would know that in the arcade era, fighting games were huge, like popular. And then they got ported to console gaming, and from there, that's when they become questionable because everyone was trying to jump on that hype train of fighting games. All because a couple of them were super popular. And I'm pretty sure we all know the ones that we're probably going to talk about today. So, the first one we're going to talk about that made arcade, let's say, competitive fighting game a thing would be Street Fighter 2. I'm not going to talk about Street Fighter 1 because Street Fighter 1 was single player and you couldn't choose your character. You had to play as Ryu, however you want to pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it's Ryu, so I'm going to try to stick with that. Um, but yeah, the first one, Street Fighter World Champion, I think it was called, was just single player. You went through, you tried to fight each individual person until you got to the boss, and then you fought the boss. Game was done, right? But Street Fighter 2, when it initially came out, was released in 1991, following an unsuccessful attempt to brand the 1989 beat 'em up Final Fight as a Street Fighter sequel, which I found interesting when I was researching this. I didn't know that. I thought Final Fight was like its own brand because it kind of is. I think they made like three or four of them. So I was shocked to know that it was a sequel because it didn't have any of the characters from Street Fighter in it. So it is one of the earliest arcade games. I feel like we should have changed the shit because now I'm looking here the whole
You
time.
just gotta try less hard, Joe. Anyways, if you guys haven't noticed, Joe makes notes. So he's reading in case you haven't caught on. But no, that's okay. You probably should have just done a pre-read, but that's all right.
I should have done that.
We'll do that for episode 16, 17, and 18. We promise.
We're learning. We're learning. It's the first time we're together, and full disclosure, I've been out in the sun all fucking day, so I really don't know what's going on right now. And I keep leaning this way, looking at the camera when I should lean like this way. So yeah, it is one of the earliest arcade games of Capcom hardware, and designed by Akira Nishitani, who also made the Final Fight and Forgotten Worlds, which I don't know what that game is.
Heavily forgotten.
Yeah,
Successful.
Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior is the first one-on-one fighting game to give players a choice from a variety of characters. So, like I was saying in the first one, you didn't get a choice. There's Ryu, that's it. The second one, now you got to be Ryu, Ken, Chun Li, Dalzim, Blanca. The list goes on and on and on, right? And then you got the whole M Bison and the Balrog, right? They were actually supposed to be switched. Balrog was supposed to be the boss, and then M Bison was the boxer. But obviously, for legal reasons, they had to change that. Yeah, so each player had a unique fighting style with approximately 30 or more moves, including a new grapple system, throws 2 or 3 special attacks, the Hadouken, the Shuriken, and the Hadouken.
That wasn't a stutter. That was just him going at it, guys. I'm in the room. There was no AI in the making of that stutter. Fuck. Continue.
In the single player mode, the players you fought against a computer. Again, working your way to the top until you fought. I believe it went Sagat, Oh no, Vega, Sagat, and then M Bison were like the three kind of bosses. Yeah, as in the original, the second player can join the game. So in Super Nintendo fashion, you press start, you join the game. In arcade fashion, you drop in a quarter, and then you get to fight somebody. Yeah, so made it pretty popular in the arcades. Uh, One, because of being able to pick different characters. Everyone started specializing in characters. We all remember the old internet days. We'd all print out the move list.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. You'd all go on the move list, and then you would sit there with the move list in front of you at the arcade, and you'd practice until somebody came along, and then the rule was if you lost, you're out. Next person. There was such a lineup, you had to do it that way. You couldn't stay, so you had to become good, which I never was good at that game. The music, awesome. Sprites, great. Character models, unbelievable. And because each of them was super, super, super unique, except for Ryu and Ken. They were the same, basically, just different sprites. And then with that game, it sprung. I had a list of it there, but like Street Fighter 2 rode that train, and there was like Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Edition, Street Fighter 2 Tournament Championship, blah blah blah. Like they rode that hype train for like 3 years or so until they made a third Street Fighter. The series is still obviously going on today up until 6, I think it is now, which I haven't played past Street Fighter EX on the PlayStation, which was like the first 3D one. I think that was called Street Fighter EX Alpha or something like that. It was okay. It wasn't too bad. I don't know if you've ever played that one, but
Briefly.
yeah, you remember that
It,
one?
it wasn't, and I think when we go through this list, and a lot of people are going to see, I think when we grew up, Joe, a lot of the twos were, that was where they perfected it. And we talked about this, and I want to say we talked about this before, like when we talked about how many games or how many sequels certain games get, and we were just talking about it outside with Witcher 3, right? How many DLCs do we need? Just make a good fucking game. I'll play Street Fighter 2 to this day. But like you said, and that was it. And since you did all the book learning, I'm gonna do the emotional side of it. The
Sure.
things that I remember of Street Fighter, and before we get into Mortal Kombat, were the epic backgrounds. Like fighting in those backgrounds, Chun Li had the chicken coop or the chickens in the cages
Yeah, the
behind her, and
street
you were
art,
going
yeah.
right. Guile was on the Navy ship.
Yep.
I can't remember. Vega was in Madrid in the cage.
Yes, it was like a cage fight,
Yeah.
which he could also climb up the cage.
Because that was his area. And this is the one thing, because I don't know if it ended up progressing through any other game, but you touched on it there, and I never really saw it anywhere else. If you fought anyone else in their home gym, did they have any other kind of ability? Like
You know what? I don't think, honestly, I think Vega was the only one.
the odd one. Like
Yeah.
there's the odd exception that we're forgetting, but if we could go back time, what would be cool is you can only knock them through the wall if it's in your home gym. But
Yeah, like I know, it was either M Bison, I think it was in Bison stage, he had like pillars on the side
Yeah,
that
and
if
you
you
could knock
hit you
them
hard
through.
enough and you broke through them, but it didn't knock you to like another screen, it was just an environmental thing. And I'm trying to remember if anybody else did that, and I don't think anybody else had something like that other than
Dal's
Vega.
team.
He had the elephants in the background. I don't think he
Maybe
had
not.
anything, but also with Vega, you can make him lose his clothing. If you
Yeah, okay, that I
right?
do remember.
If you hit him enough, it would fly off, and he would have to go back and collect it, right? Which was also pretty cool. I can't remember even with his face mask. I think his face mask kind
It
of
just broke. I don't remember it coming clean off.
yeah, it just broke, right? It didn't
But it
come
was
off.
that weathered feeling that we got with every game growing up, right? Like you got to 3/4 health down, then yeah, they're starting to look bagged out. They're kind of looking like us today after Joe's been in the sun reading his notes. Just a little worn out.
Probably
today.
should have done that while I was DJing. That would have been
You
smart.
weren't even DJing. You press play. Don't
I
even
press
fucking-
play like
don't
every
don't
other,
let's
like every other DJ. I just made a playlist and press play.
not every other DJ. Me and your brother. We were real, and this is why you got to play DJ Hero. Pussy.
Dude, fucking great.
I know, I saw it there.
Yeah, it's right there.
Next to Leonardo, by the way.
Hell yeah.
He's mediating today between me and Joe.
He's usually in the cup chair, but Angry Corgi is today. Why can I never figure out the camera?
Yeah.
Right there. Right there.
Yeah.
It's so.
I am in the room. This is not a visual. I was gonna say I did the
It
same
kind of
thing.
looks like it, eh?
Yeah, we set this up pretty well.
Yeah,
It's a good
not
thing we
too
didn't
bad.
plan this at all. We're
Not
doing
too
pretty
bad.
good just rolling with the punches.
So Street Fighter 2 was ultimately the best one, I believe. Like everyone would probably say that. 3 was pretty decent. I can't remember what the subtext title was, but they added some more characters.
Well, did E Honda come in before 3?
No, E Honda was 2. 3
We
had
talked about this.
3 had Fei Long. I believe he was like the Bruce Lee character. Shit, dude. I
It
remember.
wasn't not Baraka.
Nope, that's Mortal Kombat for sure.
When was shit?
T-Hawk?
Yeah, but I thought he
T-Hawk was in it. Right? Yeah, I think T-Hawk was in it. I should have pulled up other shit.
You know, you made so many fucking notes. You'd figure you'd make some good ones.
Nope, not really, not at all. It's just little things to try to jog my memory, but it's not working. Anyways, and then there's Street Fighter Alpha, which I believe that one added Charlie, who was supposed to be Guile's brother. Like, there's a whole lore to this thing, right?
Well, and that was it. But I think Street Fighter, because we're gonna get into it now with the remake of the movie, especially because this is why we wanted to do it. Because we were children when Jean-Claude Van Damme, Thank you, pal. We appreciate you doing that movie for the $45 they had to run it, because I'm pretty sure they broke into North Korea.
Dude. And Raul Julia as
Oh,
yeah. Kylie Minogue as
And then
Cammy.
and then what's her nuts was Mei Ying.
Yes, she was Chun-Li.
Ma Wing. I'm gonna.
Yep.
You're an awesome martial artist, and
Yep.
I'm a horrible
Yep.
audience
That
member.
movie, honestly, is near and dear to my heart.
But that's it. But there was a certain campiness to it that was the style at the time, because, and we'll go into, the next one here, which is one that, we played a lot. But just to kind of preface this, when we talk about these fighting games, and Joe had mentioned that, you're a one player until, you throw in the quarter and whatnot, or until we got into the second version of most of these games. But this was one of those games that brought people together. And this was like one of those, because during this time, what did we have? GoldenEye wasn't even really out yet.
No, GoldenEye was 97.
Yeah. So you had probably about 2 years where the fighting games, then you had your sports games for those that like the sports games. But Street Fighter will always hold the pantheon, much like our next game here we're going to talk about, and the next franchise altogether, in Mortal Kombat. Because I don't think Mortal Kombat would have been as great as if it didn't have Street Fighter to compete with.
Probably not. Like, and if you think about it, like, when you play Mortal Kombat 1, I know in the last podcast you mentioned you're like, oh, you got like a little mini cabinet with Mortal Kombat. I played Mortal Kombat 1 and I'm like, this game isn't that good. It was unique, it looked real, and it was unique. They used the whole, I think it's called rotoscope or something kind of technology, where like they filmed real people doing like the moves, and then they like
the guys with the fucking lights and shit,
and then they like digitally impose them into the game, right? So they'd have like martial artists stand there and they're like, hey, do like a side kick, do a roundhouse, do like a sweeping leg kick. Okay, your special move is you're gonna shoot fireballs out of your hand, so like we need you to stand like this. And they would film all those, and then they would digitally impose them into like not pixel art, but like they would use the technology of the arcade, because it originally came out on arcade, and then it did get ported to other systems after that. But they used the technology of the arcade to make it look like people, which was really cool. So like the background was obviously made up in digital sprites and all that stuff, and then the foreground, they look like real people, right? So this game is very important, because if it wasn't for this game, whether you think it's important in a good way or a bad way, if it wasn't for Mortal Kombat, we would not have the ERSB rating video game system that we do today.
Explain her, Joe.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to explain it because it's a long, huge thing. But the argument has always been like, video games create violence, right? Like we hear that with COD, we hear that with like whatever new violent game comes out, Postal, with fucking all of them, right? So what it was is when this game was coming out, um, politicians and everyone picked on this game. They're like, this game's violent because if we all remember the fatalities in this game, you could rip people's spines out of their back.
Come over here.
You got blood everywhere. You got this. It was just exaggerated in blood. And today's Mortal Kombat, like you got those X-ray fucking moves and shit like that. But back then it was just a lot of blood and the fatalities, right? Now again, it's digital fatalities, but it looked real. You had skulls. You had people being blown
I
up.
just remember the 32, fucking pixel blood going away.
Yeah,
That was real
right?
back in the day,
Yeah,
guys.
you uppercut a guy and he loses a liter of blood or whatever, right? So politicians decided to use this game as an example of video games are ruining children, right? So went through a court system. I'm just going to give you the TLDR, as the kids say. Um, too long didn't read, just in case you didn't know.
No, I didn't.
Okay,
Thank
too
you.
long didn't read. So it's just a short form of it.
Fucking
So
TikTok brain. God damn.
it was all over the news and everything. So what the video game society, whatever you want to call it, as a whole, decided to do, they were like, okay, no, that's fair. It's violent. This is what we're going to do. We're going to create a rating system, much like the movie rating system, PG-13, but this one's going to be like kids, teens,
Mature.
and mature. I think it was 18 plus back then, and now they call it mature. And then adults only, which, if you listen to the last podcast, there was a one game that was rated that called Thrill Kill, and they rated that adults only, which meant it couldn't be sold in stores. You would have to like go to your local porn shop and buy it in the back or whatever it is, right?
We miss you guys. We
Yeah.
miss you guys.
Yeah, it had to be hidden in the back away from children,
Yeah,
right?
behind the creepy beaded curtain wall
Mhm.
with the weirdos with thick glasses and the smell
Yes,
of
sir.
VO and heavy panting.
Yes, sir. I honestly wish I went to more because I think I only went to one and it was weird. But I feel like there's still one in Winnipeg, dude. Video 1001.
Mhm.
Still, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But they also sell ice cream, hard ice cream.
course,
Don't
you
ask
know
me
what
how
I
I
mean.
know that. So yeah, so Mortal Kombat, because of that game, they came out with the ESRB rating system for video games, for better or for worse. Basically, rating each game like a movie, you had to send in the most brutal parts of your game to analysts or whatever they're called. They're not critics. I can't remember what they're called, but anyways, you give them the most brutal parts. You give them like descriptions of stuff that happens, and then based on those, like the people don't even play the game really, but based on the description, they decide whether it's for kids, for teens, or for 18 plus.
Which was probably for the best. And I know it's not something that we were all a fan of growing up, but when you look at it now, dude, we played some pretty violent games like
Oh yeah,
Road Rash and shit like that. Like,
even movies, dude. Think about it. Like movies that were rated PG that we watched now would be rated R probably.
easily. And
You know
then
what I mean?
and we forgot one rating. Back in the day, we used to have this NC-17
That's
rating.
right. I think
So if
that's
you
what-
weren't quite 18, they would let you still go to the show. But
you had to
but
be
yeah, like
accompanied by an adult. Is that what it was?
I
Or was
can't
it?
remember.
Oh,
Either way, it was some bullshit, but they did their best to keep it. Because in my mind, Twilight should have been rated up. Just saying, to all you Twilight bitches, that should have been rated up. You guys got lucky because they take your money. Don't think you're better than us.
I don't even know where to come with an argument.
You want to
with
know
that.
why? Because I had to go see all of them in the fucking
Oh,
theater.
dude, but the last one was the best one.
I didn't see the last one.
Oh,
but
dude, the last one was so
the
good.
fucking vampires don't. They probably don't die. You know what? Fuck you. The one with what's her Underworld?
Oh, Underworld.
Way better series.
Of
Way fucking better series.
Of
Yeah.
course.
But we're not talking vampires today. We're talking Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. There.
So yeah, so they created the ERSRB system to appease the masses. Everyone decided, yeah, that's a good thing. Now I believe it's called the PEGI 18 system. Comes from Europe. I think that's what it is now. But anyways, so Mortal Kombat when it came out was rated mature,
Yeah.
but when it got ported to the Nintendo and Sega, Sega kept the blood. Sega was, or yeah,
Sega was cool.
Sega. Hold on, I think I get this right. Sega came out with the game. There was no blood, but there was a code within the game that you typed in to get the blood.
And we're going back because we talked about this a couple weeks ago. For some of you guys that don't remember, we used to have to type codes in and shit
Yeah,
to get cool stuff.
yeah, and it wasn't a hidden code.
No.
Like they let people know. They're like, yeah, no, there's no blood in the original game. Like it's not released with blood,
But that was
there
the
is
workaround,
code for it, right? So that's how they worked. Nintendo released it with no blood. Nintendo was Sweat that came out, right? So, but when it came out into arcades first, it blew up. Now it had different mechanics than Street Fighter. The reason why I keep fucking pausing, bro, is because I'm looking at the camera, but I feel like I should be looking at you
You should.
to make it more like. But now, like, I'm just staring like. Anyways, so
Just point it out to the viewers too, Joe.
they're gonna
Good
see
thing-
it's a video. They're
Nah,
gonna be
they
like,
left those on fucking
why is this guy
Spotify.
just staring at the
Yeah.
camera?
Like when you really meet your heroes and you find out what they're like, that's Joe.
So, anyways, when it came out to arcade first, again, huge success. Even the first one was a huge success, but the first one was a huge success because it had blood. It was more gorier. It was more aimed to teenage boys and adults, whereas Street Fighter, like an 8-year-old could play it or whatnot, right? But who's got the money? The money it's the teens that are working, and it's the adults, right? So shout out to Midway, who's made this, Ed Boon, and I'm gonna fuck this up. I know his last name's Tobias. I want to say John Tobias, but that sounds too lame in a sense. But I think that's what it
His
is.
last name is Tobias.
Yes.
He didn't have any points coming into
Yes,
the match.
which I believe now it's just Ed Boon that works on it. I think Tobias kind of left to do his own thing, which is weird because why you're making a shit ton of money. But anyways, probably creative differences. So yes, when it came out on arcade, had blood, everything. People lined up, played it. The mechanics were different from Street Fighter. Street Fighter was a lot of like half circle, quarter circle punch, right? Like, but
Which was a newer style. Like when we grew up, it was a lot of back, forward, back, that like up, down, and that stuff. Which Mortal Kombat ended up adopting quite a bit. But when we got, and we're still talking, and you guys are looking at us like we're fucking retarded. We didn't have directional left and rights on our
we didn't
controllers
have
back in the
analogs.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, I could pull out a controller, but I don't think I have one.
Just focus on the camera.
Yeah,
That's your
sorry,
job.
my bad. I don't think there's one there. They're all in bags somewhere else. It's only my systems here. I mean, you could pull out the Game Boy and show, but yeah,
So much shit here.
dude. But it's all organized, bro. Like again, all my controllers and shit are like in the other. Did I tell you he was my emotional support animal when I beat Absalom? I hugged him and I was like tearing up after I beat the game. Fuck, this is going sideways so fast. Anyways, I don't know if the camera's fixed yet. Maybe you can do that. So, Mortal Kombat. We're still talking about Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
So, Mortal Kombat again, still a franchise today. It created a lot of other media. The movie, we all remember the movie, 1993, and the 95 piece of shit Annihilation movie.
And then a remake that was okay.
It was fine. It was fine. I mean,
But then Street Fighter came out and they got a lot better now.
the Goro fight and whoever that made up fucking character is that they made for the movie, which they didn't need to because of Liu Kang's the fucking main guy, but whatever. I don't know what they're doing. It's still fucking blurry, but whatever.
You're not drunk, Joe's setup is just colorful.
Really-
So colorful the camera doesn't know what to pick up on.
So yeah, it sprouted a lot of different media, cartoons, movies. I believe a live action show for a year, which had the dude from Iron Chef, the Asian guy. the fuck's his name? Not Donnie Yen, the other guy.
If Donnie Yen, if Ip Man did fucking
It wasn't
MasterChef,
Ip Man. It wasn't.
I
Ip
know
Man.
what you're thinking.
Mark DeCassis, whatever his name is. He. Yeah, you do one season, dude. One season, and it was
That's all you needed.
It was Spike TV or Men TV, whatever it was at the time.
Spike TV was gold. Again, we saw a lot of shit in our day, but Spike TV when it came out was gold because it had video game shit, but it also had 1,000 Ways to Die and the.
Did it not have Slam Ball?
Who gives a fuck about
And
Slam?
did it not
What
have
about
that
the
roller
Warrior
derby?
versus Warrior?
Oh, Deadliest Warrior.
Hey.
Yeah, that's also a fighting game. So yeah, so Mortal Kombat was huge. They have 2, 3, 4, 5. Like they did up to 11, and then they rebooted it back to 1, I think it was. Plus a bunch of spin-offs, right? Like we can't forget about Shaolin Monks, which was like a mix between a beat 'em up, but it had Mortal Kombat controls, so you could still do special moves and all that other shit. And then the trilogy that was really shitty with like Sub-Zero was one main character, Jax. It was like
you talking the animated series?
Nah, dude.
That one was good,
Nah,
bro.
dude. Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on.
hang on.
I'm gonna show you, dude. Should really.
Look at that. Joe turned on Twitch, so if you're on Twitch right now, the Digital Duke, check him out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I won't be because
I don't know who that is. I was watching somebody else and I just never close it.
That's fair.
Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero game. Mythology Sub-Zero.
5.8 on IMDb, shit.
Like it was a.
But they tried too hard, and
It was like a beat 'em up, but it's still in the same style, and they added platforming to it, and the platform was shit. Everything was shit about it. Here's like the platform part.
But we talked about this even with Witcher 3 today, and that's the one thing I can respect about Street Fighter, because Street Fighter, like you said, we're talking 30 years.
Yeah.
35 now,
right?
getting close.
Because 91, right? So
But
35, yeah.
they did 6, right? Which is always going to be those.
Mm-hmm.
The game was good enough. The storyline was good enough. That's it. We don't need to overdo it. And this is what pisses me off with Mortal Kombat, because I love Mortal Kombat. I did, truly did. Like even because Shaolin Monks was the Wu-Tang version.
No, Shaolin Monks was the spin-off of PS2 where you played. Could be co-op on one player. You're Liu Kang and Kung Lao. I don't remember what the whole story was.
Doesn't matter. Probably wasn't.
But it was a side scroller beat 'em up kind of 3D. You still technically use the button inputs for fighting, but there was more combos to it. Plus there was fatalities when you were fighting like people when you built up your meter. Really good game. I should look that up. I should find it again.
Just out here talking about how subpar it was.
No, the mythology one was shit.
And this is it, because when you take that idea and you string it out so many fucking times, a copy of a copy is never a good copy. I'm gonna let everybody know here, spoiler alert, if you're, under 5 years old, making a copy of a copy is never good. But this is the thing. Mortal Kombat ended up taking over the franchise because the movie that came out for its time was better than Street Fighter.
Yes. Yes. I'll admit to that. It was better.
Not great, but it was better.
Not much better, but the casting was better for sure.
Raiden was the shit.
They knew why people wanted to watch it. Like if you watch the movie, it's just fight scene after fight scene.
That's it. But
The
that's what
dialogue shit. Don't worry about the
I
dialogue.
want to watch Kano be a grease bag, just shit like that. But the Goro was pretty bad. The Goro, not the greatest.
I
Goro,
don't know about practical effects. Like
back before digital effects, we had guys in costumes that looked like claymation.
Yeah.
If you'd like to know what I'm talking about, please go back and check out Goro in Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, it was Goro was it was Goro Shao.
He wasn't Shao, or Shang Tsung was the bad guy.
Goro was the
Goro was
he was the guy you fought before Shang Tsung. Yes. And the thing with Mortal Kombat, okay, so Mortal Kombat, you have to cheat. You have to. When you're fighting the computers, you have to cheat. There's no other way of beating that game but and I say cheat, but not with cheat codes. The way that they made the character, like the computer characters, fight against you, is when you inputted something, that computer knew right away what you were doing, and it already knew how it was going to counter it. So you had to kind of like bait it to you, and then you kind of just did the same shit over and over again, right? One of the tactics was the jump kick. You do jump kick, they knock down, you time it again. So as soon as they get back up, you jump kick again, right? And jump kick again. The other one was the trip. You just continuously keep tripping them, right? The multiple punches. If you could get timing right, you could just
Pin them against the fucking
Yeah,
back of the screen.
So yeah, 2 was a big hit. 3 was pretty good. 3 added more characters, right? That's the thing that fighting games do. We gotta add more characters. But they also added like a block button and a run button. So it added to the combos. They made it more combo based with the runs and like being able to block throws. I think they added into the third one too. I don't think they were in the second one. Um, but yeah, it was a huge game. The characters were all different. Their special moves were different. They looked different, but their basic attacks were all the same, right? Like they all had the same uppercut, they all had the same roundhouse kick, they all had the same punch. It was the special moves that made them different. And also in Mortal Kombat 2, 3, 4, they started adding like secret characters, right?
Like I remember Smoke. Like you could get
Yeah,
Smoke.
Noob Saibot, right?
Oh yeah.
Ermac. Ermac was a error, right? That's what Ermac was
I
like.
remember the name. I can't even think of
Or
him
something.
now.
Yeah, he's like the red. So they started just color swapping, right? Which
Well,
is
let's talk Scorpion and Sub Zero then. If we're gonna fucking talk this shit, right?
fucking characters in the game, dude. They're so.
And this is why, right? Because I like a lot of animated movies, guys. I like watching DC animated movies. I think they're better than the actual live ones. But there was a series of animated movies that came out for Mortal Kombat not too long ago, within the last 5 years. Um, but that's the Scorpion and the Sub Zero I want to see. I want to see them. Their family was taken. That's why they're cursed like this. Da da da. That's the shit.
They're mortal enemies because their clans hated each other. So those color swaps made sense because it was like, oh, they're both part of a ninja clan. One's this guy, one's that guy. One's ice, right? So
Yeah.
he's got to be blue. One's fire. It's weird that they made
Yellow.
him yellow, but I guess whatever. Must have
I
been
have
like
a feeling there was a
interpretation.
plan for a red. I have a feeling there was a plan for a red.
Would there? Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Marlena's purple,
Yeah. Melina, and then Katana's blue.
green, or
Jade is green.
green. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for the ninja side, you had Sub Zero blue, Scorpion yellow, Reptile green.
Is it Kung Lao with the hat?
Kung
That
Lao
one
had
had
the
the
hat.
red scarf.
Kung Lao had the hat, right? Then yeah, again you had Noob Saibot was smoke. Was it smoke and Noob? No, Noob Saibot was a shadow. Smoke was the cyborg on the cyborg sides.
Yeah.
Because then you had in the third one they added the cyborgs, right?
Because he was like Cabal or whatever.
Cabal was in the third one. He had the crow. What was
He
his
had the
weapon?
fucking.
Yeah, but
He
his
had like
weapons
the
were like
fucking
crowbar swords at the same time, right?
like.
They had,
Have you
like,
guys ever watched? If you watched Star Trek, like, he had like the Klingon sword. I don't know what it's called. Someone in your D&D's
yes.
fucking getting mad at
Yes.
us right now.
whatever that sword was called? Yes.
And that's what he used. Sorry, I didn't spit on him. He's being a little fucking dramatic.
No.
But But anyways, I appreciate the plug. By the way, angrycorgicustoms.ca. We will have some new podcast stuff up there right away.
So yeah, we were going on the character because I was like, I remember that there was Rain, the Ermac.
But that's why Mortal Kombat, and this is it. Street Fighter had its base dozen fighters right throughout.
Mhm.
Like even now, you remake a movie, you gotta have Ken, you gotta have Guile, you gotta have, and Bison's. I can get rid of them, but that was the thing. And with the first movie for Street Fighter, that was one of the things that they had is they had everyone and anybody was acting. Just it was a cameo movie, and that was the best part of it. It was probably
Zangief was the best part of that movie.
But even it wasn't even Balrog. No,
They had DJ.
DJ. There
It
we
was
go.
DJ.
But yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know what I was talking about. But we
Yeah.
had Honda in there. Like
Hmm.
you had your faves, and that's what they wanted, right? It was like probably an hour and 15 to 20 minutes of just Jean Claude Van Damme doing handstands and fucking kicks, breeding North Korea. Because if you watch the movie, looks like it was filmed in North Korea. Then you're in a back room, and then M Bison comes and is just ready to go, and we're gonna take the world, brother.
Dude, he was, man. We're going back to Street Fighter, but again, that movie, Raul Julia, last movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Um,
R.I.P.
yeah, exquisite acting, and I say that in a good way. Like he knew what he was doing, right? Like if we all watch Raul Julia, he's a really good actor. He knew, and he played that shit up so good. Jean Claude is just Jean Claude.
Everywhere Jean Claude
I
goes.
don't understand. Like again, I understand because he was big in the '90s, but at least work on the accent. At least work on the accent.
We lost someone the other day. I can't remember his name. His last name was Douglas. But if you watched Bloodsport,
Oh,
that
yes.
was the time in which Jean Claude Van Damme was. This was the era, and that's why. Because we then later saw Bruce Willis getting literally every part. And Bruce Willis, we loved you, dude. I know you're not, all there anymore, but thank you for your service. It happens. We get old. But this was it. But the iconic, and I think the fact that Mortal Kombat, because not the new one that's coming out, but the one that came out, say 2-3 years ago, wasn't horrible. It had animality, which was a huge part, I think, of 3.
3, I believe, added animality and babality.
Oh,
and
fuck, I forgot about it.
And friendship, right?
See, friends. But yeah, but it's shit like that. Like, it wasn't as gimmicky. Like now, simplicity is best. Minimalist games kind of work better, but they were building the franchises from these games. And like we talked about, the first ones were kind of trials. They were more of an arcade style, but it got people out. Like we talked, not last week, it's been a couple weeks since recorded, but what DDR, right? What DDR did to the arcade game was different. If it wasn't for things like DDR and he's shooting Big Buck Hunter, shit like that in the arcade, even, or was it Motorsport?
Oh, the motorcycle one? Yeah, I can't remember that one.
Because kids wanted to spend 5 fucking tickets.
Cruising USA.
But it was shit like that. But we had Road Rash. That was never, and that was more console. I don't remember playing a Road Rash at an arcade.
No.
But the next game we're going to talk to was arcade friendly, and it was, it was the little brother. And the only one out of this, the one that I really remember, was Tekken 3. But Tekken itself was its own franchise. And, Namco always kept it to the chest. Like, there wasn't anything crazy. It was more like, when MMA, so when UFC first started, everybody had a discipline that they fought. You either were a jiu-jitsu fighter against a karate fighter. You were either a boxer versus
a freestyle fighter.
Just
or,
something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the MMA that you know today, right? Like guys still came in gis with belts, and that's it. And then you had guys like Chief that would just tomahawk you and kill you because he was 6'5". But but it's shit like that. Like, and that's what Tekken always felt like to me. Like Street Fighter, we talked about it. They did not release shit after shit after shit.
No, they made sure that
it was quality every time.
Yes, I mean there's probably going to be some arguments to like the newer ones, or when they first moved to like 3D.
But
again,
let's talk about
3D,
the classic.
Right? Yeah.
The classic, because I know we're gonna have nerds out there that are fucking getting ready.
Yeah, the classics for sure. But yeah,
take your Zol off, bitches. We're not done yet.
Yeah, I mentioned that Street Fighter 1 on the PlayStation, whatever. I give credit where credit's due because again, it was the first time that they made it in 3D, right?
But that was the times it had to go there, and the money that it took. Because we talked about the compact discs back in episode 1, 2, or 3 there, with the means of delivery for the media. And just the price of the hardware, like I said, and I was joking with Joe. I was actually joking with my mom because I said, "You've probably got a mint down here, but the problem is, right? It's you can't get rid of it because it's so there's sentiment." And I think the cartridge games, because when I think Mortal Kombat, when I think So now this is where we fight. Um, I preferred the cartridge fighting games over any of the disc and or hard drive games that followed after. To me,
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat 2
Mm-hmm.
cartridge, that was it. Tekken 3, PlayStation.
Yeah, I
Because
want to
Tekken
argue.
reminded me of Dead or Alive.
Yeah,
Like that's the thing. It was that kind of what do we talk the blocky 3D, right? Like I
yes.
know my like we're not super boxy, but if I had triceps coming down in a triangle right now, that's what it would be. But
Yeah.
there was a certain nostalgia to it. And we're gonna finish off with another one that was super duper campy, but it was why people like fighting games because it brought it in, and we're seeing that right now as revival. And the reason, and I didn't tell jokes, I didn't foreshadow them because I'm a dick. But when we look at games like Brawlhalla and stuff like that now, this is what when we had like when we were kids, we only had those 10 characters. And like Joe said, you had motherfuckers. We used to go and get the playbook because you
Mm-hmm.
couldn't download a walkthrough. You had to go
Mm-hmm.
and get the book.
Mm-hmm.
Or you had to wait. I can't remember, it wasn't Tiger Beat, but one of the kids' magazines, they would have like the odd little thing.
Or it'd be in like a video game magazine or something. They would
Yeah.
have like, here's how you fight as this person, right?
And that's it. But that's how you got the codes because that's how they marketed things. Like
Mhm.
the video game itself wasn't the money; it was the magazine. It was shit. You remember going seeing Ninja Turtles on Ice?
There was that, and also the rock concert. Remember the rock concert, dude? I have that on VHS.
They
by
took
the
our
way.
parents' money like
I have
motherfuckers.
that shit on VHS.
But this
still.
is it. But now we look at it, and Seth Rogen, thank you, dude. Thank you for bringing it back to an animated
Okay,
place.
thank you for giving it to someone who gives a shit.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it comes down to. That like he gave that's his childhood. He gives a shit about it.
And
Right?
that's it. Like it wasn't overdone. Like the what were those? I would say the 2010s. The two that they weren't bad. Like TMNT, they weren't bad,
Yeah,
but
but
it was geared more towards kids, right? It was trying to get in that different demographic.
Yeah.
Because I did watch the animated series again, the original plus the one that was redone in 2003 2004.
That one's pretty good.
That one's pretty good.
Mhm.
But that's it. But we saw the same thing that we saw growing up with everything else, Joe, is it started to be cut real kind of shit.
Mhm.
Right? We're just recycling and recycling and recycling. We're redoing. Krang is gonna be Krang no matter how many fucking times you do Krang. Doesn't matter. He's gonna be fucking solid. And I really hope one day that it's Sam Rockwell in the Rock's belly. But for now, it isn't, so my opinion doesn't matter. But that being said, Tekken brought I think Tekken kept the other two honest because Tekken was simple, but it had that arcade feel.
Mhm.
And I'm talking Tekken 3. Tekken 3 was the Tekken if we're going to talk Tekkens. But that's it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It kept things, and that was the original UFC. You had every fighter had their own thing, kind of like the original Street Fighters. It wasn't just Blanca coming out and just fucking electrocuting motherfuckers. Like it wasn't shit like that.
Also, did it not add the ring out mechanic? I think.
I can't remember.
I think it had the
It could've.
ring out mechanic. It was either that,
But
or
it was
virtual
designed
fighting.
like K1 fighting. It was perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone had a discipline.
Yeah.
Everyone felt different, for sure. Like,
Because, and this is the one thing that really drove me nuts with some of these games, Joe, and it's something we adopted later on, but we got into an elemental chart, right? Your strength is against X element versus that.
mhm.
And fighting games, and I think that's one thing like we alluded to, and I can't really remember what Tekken, but when you had everybody independently, you needed certain people to beat certain people. Some people could do it better, some people could do it worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Street Fighter was kind of like that, but then when you got into Mortal Kombat was just the absolute chaos shit show.
Mhm.
And as long as you knew how to play that guy, as long as you had that combo in your head and you had that play, but the problem is when we played each other so much, because now you're picking from a menu of 12 items.
And you always pick, like, you knew, like,
Oh yeah, because you'd heard Buddy fucking clicking.
yeah. Well, and like you knew too, right? Like, because you knew, okay, this person likes Ryu. This like for Street Fighter, it was always
Delzine.
like,
Fucking
oh,
Delzine.
buddy,
Your brother in Delzine, by the way.
Delzime is like odd job. You can't fucking pick him, okay? You can't fucking pick him.
Fucking Doink the Clown.
Yeah,
You keep going. You're right. A surprise
Yeah.
set up for us.
Yeah, what?
Just keep going. Don't worry about
So yeah, you mentioned Tekken. We started talking about Tekken, then we went on a fucking tangent. But Tekken, was one of the first 3D fighting games.
I would say, yeah, because
Next to
everything else was
Virtual
2D.
Fighter, we all know Virtual Fighter was first, but like Virtual Fighter was, and we're probably going to talk about it later, or we can talk about it now. It doesn't matter.
No, we
Virtual
already
Fighter was clunky. Again, first 3D fighting game. It was a 3D fighting game fought on a 2D plane. So,
And this is it, because some of you guys didn't get to experience that. Like if you're 30 or younger, you probably didn't really see that. Your first real grasp of fighting games would have been through the clunky 3D on PlayStation 1. You know what, Sega kind of, and this is it, and I hate it because I don't like talking shit about Sega, because Sega at least tried to do something different. But we
Sega
talked
was
about
good.
it. It was always vibrant. It was always Sega worked
It was
the
crunchy.
appearance.
It was fucking crunchy, is what Sega was. The music, everything was just crunchy.
And that's it. But
um,
it's shit like that, because now, and we'll let you talk about Virtua Fighter here because you're the only one that wants to. But that was the thing, right? We went into a new delivery system of game. Like if we were still playing a 2D arcade version now, and even like you said, Joe got the tabletop because he's doing too fucking good in life. So he's got one of those sitting on the bar in his basement, in which we have a studio and fucking Harry Potter lights.
Smart with my money. I'm not rich.
You're not smart with your money. You married a wonderful woman.
I married an accountant, and she's smart with money.
Hey. Life tip number 3 from
If you want
Joe.
to know the trick, that's what you do. And
Yeah.
then like you're like, yeah, okay, how do I save up? Then she figures it out, and you're like, cool, I can buy this
You
stuff.
just keep dropping hints, and eventually you get a new PC. You get some live.
Yeah, that does happen in the
Really?
VR system. But I've tried to save up for that shit. And she saw how hard I was saving up for it, and then she rewarded me for it. It's fine. You know what? We don't need to talk about my personal life.
Thank you, Ms. Mac.
Yeah, we don't
Thank
need
you
to,
for letting us have a studio. Thank
We don't
you.
need to fucking.
I love
fine.
it, though. It's okay, buddy.
So, fucking Tekken. Okay, Tekken. We're going to talk about Tekken, then we're going to talk about Virtual Fighter, and
Yeah.
then we're going to talk about like a couple other
Yeah,
random shit.
Joe's randos that he wanted to bring up here. Which
So
he doesn't get along.
Tekken focused on hand-to-hand combat with opponents with gameplay systems including blocks, throws, escapes, and ground fighting. So this is something the other games didn't have. When somebody was on the ground, you couldn't hit them. Until later on, now I know I'm pretty sure in like Street Fighter and stuff like that, you're able to do that. I don't play those games anymore because those games are catered to online, and I get shit kicked. I don't have the reflexes anymore. So, anyways, like we were mentioning, everybody kind of had their own style. I remember with Tekken, bro, and I know you're texting. I remember with Tekken, every character had their own end credit. Like this was back in the day when there wasn't like cutscenes everywhere.
Did Mortal
right?
Kombat have that after you beat the campaign? Or was it just a generic? And this was another thing I missed.
It didn't. I don't think it did.
So there are certain games, and we haven't talked about it much, but Fable was one that I liked, but Fable had a different cutscene depending on how you
Yes, it
finish.
had 3 different endings.
Yeah. And it's shit like that that really got me, because the only reason I watch a lot of Marvel movies, I haven't watched any in a while, but the new Marvel movies, it's that fucking end credit Easter egg, man. That's all I want. I just want to see something that someone else ain't seen.
Mm-hmm.
Because fuck those guys. I want it to be mine.
So yeah, so Tekken did that. So every character, just so you knew kind of what their character was, because again, there wasn't no cutscenes, no nothing.
But
so
it was character building.
Yeah.
It built that story.
So what I used to do, and this is, you call it cheesing, you call it whatever. I would use Law, who was like, again,
Yeah.
every fighting game always had like a
That
Bruce
guy.
Lee kind of fighter. I would use him. Now, he had a bunch of other moves. The only move I would use was, I believe it was the square and X button together. And you would do like that fucking spinning kick, and he would do 2 in a row. And I would just constantly, I would time it. So as soon as the person got up, I would do it again. And I'd go through the whole game like that. And then when I got to the end boss, I'd switch to another character. Because when you died against an end boss, it was like, do you want to retry? Yeah. Do you want to switch your character? Yeah. That's how kind of fighting games were back then. So yeah, I would do that. And then I wouldn't know how to use the character at all. I would just button mash until I beat it.
Which
just so
was
I
how
could
we
see-
were brought up.
Yeah.
This is how we used to learn how to do shit.
Yeah. You would button mash, and then you're like,
Write
oh,
it
shit, I
down.
did
Yeah,
something
what did you
cool.
touch?
Yeah. What did I press? Oh, I think I pressed like the
Yeah.
jump into this, and then like you'd figure out moves that way. So that's how I beat Tekken 2 or 3 or whatever. I think it was the original
Most
Tekken.
of the Tekkens were the same, and that was the one thing with Tekken. I don't know how far it went into the future, but Tekken 3 was pretty
There's
much, I
Tekken
think, the
8.
level.
There's
Really?
8.
Did
Yeah.
it really get any better after 3?
Yeah, a lot of people play it. Tekken 8, I believe, added like a character creation customization thing.
Oh, so
And
you
that's
had
what
the story.
the what?
So you kind of had to build your own story.
There wasn't a story. You just built their fighting style. Like you
Okay.
got to pick their moves and their fighting style, what they look like. And again, it's popular online because a lot of people create really dumb fucking characters that are pretty good. Um, so yeah, so Tekken 3, the equivalent to Law was Eddie,
Fuck, I gotta pull up that roster because
right?
I
Was
can
Eddie
see everybody's faces,
the
but
capoeira guy? And again,
Yeah.
all you had to do was like he was very fluid and you kind of button mash, but like you got him to the ground and then he would just break dance and you had to keep the momentum going, right?
So Tekken, and I didn't even realize this, had 23 available players for Tekken 3. So we had Jin Kazama,
Yeah.
Ling Zhuao,
The
Hu
girl.
Rong, Eddie
Yeah.
Gordo, Paul Phoenix, which was your equivalent to Ken,
Yeah, and then his sister was also
Nina
on there.
Williams. We had King. We had King. I remember. I loved King.
King is the guy now in Tekken 8 that I watch when people play, and he will fuck you up if he gets a hold of you. Like he'll take half your life bar away in
But
like
this
two
is it. But
moves.
we have guys that do this, and I had a couple of guys on Twitch there that I follow, and they were still playing Mortal Kombat competitively, like
Mhm.
and it's stuff. If you guys, Liu Kang kick game, if you're still out there, bro, miss you, love you, keep fucking doing you. But he was playing Mortal Kombat. I guess it would have been one before they came up with, or is it
Was
X
it
before one?
Well, was it because it went up to 11 and then they rebooted the
It was
series
one of
and
the
it was
newer
Mortal Kombat
before the
1.
reboot. Okay, so it would have probably been X or
So
11.
yeah, X or 11. Yeah.
Yeah. So I couldn't fit it on my laptop because I'm a cheap fuck. But anyways, you had King, you had Yoshimitsu, Forest
Yeah.
Law, you had
Yeah.
Li Wulong, and then you had a pile of unlockable characters like Gunjack, Moku Jin, Ogre, I remember,
Yeah.
Julia Chang, Brian Fury, Anna Williams, a bunch of literally.
And Nina were sisters.
And that's it. But there was that component. I don't know. I haven't played a fighting game in so long. I really need to. But the unlockable characters, and we won't call it cheats. The figuring out of special moves.
Mhm.
Because I'm not even kidding. Because we used to sit there with a fucking Hilroy scribbler and try to fucking someone. What'd you do? What'd you do? How did you do that? Like,
But yeah, even the lockable characters, dude. Like, I know now it's DLC because it's like
which
fucking-
is gay. We
Yeah.
talked about this earlier. DLCs are gay. Protect your
it's-
fucking game before you release it. I'm sorry.
man. I'm okay with DLC.
To an extent.
I'm not okay with having the full game made and locking it when you buy the disc because you're gonna release it as DLC. If you want to make DLC, make fucking DLC. Spider-Man did it, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man released a full game. You play through the whole story, and then they added DLC for side stories. Fucking cool. Whether they had that locked or not, don't quote me. But for a fighting game to have these things set up and they lock them and then a year later they're like, oh yeah, hey, we're adding 3 new characters, right? I hate that shit. What I like, I'd play more fighting games if I could, one, play by myself or play with other people, because sometimes, and we'll get to it when we get to the most famous Nintendo fighting game, um, you had to play versus mode a certain amount of times to unlock a character. You had to play
Tournament style to get some.
right, like you had to do this stuff to unlock a character, and that is valid. Like that makes you feel awesome, right? Especially when you don't look it up and then like the character just like pops in. Super fucking cool, right?
Well, and we came up in the day and we talked about it. We talked about Need for Speed Underground too. Um, Joe, I, his brother, and a few of our friends, back when we were growing up, being able to know the answer before the walkthrough was like God love.
Mhm.
Like that was it. So you wanted to beat the game before motherfuckers were on MIRC talking about this shit,
Game packs, all that stuff,
right?
Yeah.
So that you could be.
Yeah.
But this is the problem, and we talked about this, and I'm gonna go back because it'll tie back into to how it's come. But even with Legend of Zelda, Like when we played that shit on Game Boy versus playing it on Wii, it's different, right?
Mhm.
Because everything is there for you to get.
Mhm.
Like, and we talked about this. The whole DLC hates coming from Witcher 3 guys. I'm just.
Yeah, what is it?
It was a good enough fucking game. Stop fucking with
10
it.
years later, you just came out with another DLC.
Yeah, like we need another $49.99.
Make fucking 4 already.
So that's it, right? But that's it. And we talked about it. You got to get to a point, or we hope as a video game, you can get to a point where instead of doing what Mortal Kombat did, and don't get me wrong, an absolute fucking Goliath of a franchise,
Mhm.
but how many fucking games did they bring out to a point where it just they swerved themselves out of the fighting game?
They had to reboot it. They
Over
made
and over
11.
and over.
They made 11 plus spin-offs, and then they were like, "Fuck, we have nowhere else to go with this."
But
I
you
guess we're just
shouldn't.
gonna.
It's a fucking Mortal Kombat
I guess we're just
game.
going to reboot the story. I guess because I think in Mortal Kombat 1, I'm not talking about the old one. I'm talking
okay,
about the reboot.
okay.
I believe the story is Raiden is dead and Liu Kang gets Raiden powers. Liu Kang is now the new Raiden. I believe that's the story in the newest game now.
So the best part of the first movie for Mortal Kombat was fucking Raiden.
Yes.
Fighting.
In the first movie. The second movie,
They changed it.
recasted him and
Basically, Raiden was our Gandalf.
yes. Yes. It was Christopher Lambert, right? The Highlander dude.
Yep.
And then
They
they brought
fucked
in
around.
that other guy and he fucking sucked.
Yes.
He sucked. I'm sorry.
Sorry
The whole
about-
movie fucking sucked. But
Yeah.
whatever.
But what was the gimmick with two? Oh, they had. Wasn't it Jax got his arms?
Yes, he got his metal arms. He got them ripped off because Jax wasn't
Oh
in the
no,
first one.
because this was the first where they called. Maybe it was Animality first. Maybe
No,
that did happen in two because they called the dragon.
that was
They had
the second one.
okay,
That's how Liu Kang beat Shao Kahn.
yeah, Shao Kahn, and then it was Shang Tsung in the first one.
Shang Tsung was
We
the
got
first
this,
one.
guys.
Yeah,
We got our
yeah.
nerding together
Yeah.
here.
But yeah, no, the Animality was in that one. They added Jax. They added. They replaced. Shit, and I hate that I can't remember her name. I want to say it's Bridget Wilson, but anyways, a chick from Billy Madison, the teacher, played Sonya Blade, and then they replaced her with somebody else. Like they did a whole bunch of shit. Anyways,
What's it, Bridget Wilson? Fuck, keep going here. I gotta look this up. I gotta know now.
dude, it's all up here, bro. So yeah, just a couple of things. I know we keep bouncing back and forth,
Doesn't
but
fucking
like,
matter. Nobody pays
yeah,
attention.
but like Tekken, I just want to say,
And
has a
this is
goodness.
what bothers me because now the new movie's called Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, that's
This shit
Mortal
pisses me-
Kombat Annihilation. Look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was
Because we
called.
used to have names for our sequels.
Yeah, we did. It wasn't just numbers. There was Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
semicolon.
1997, bro. I remember us
Yeah,
watching this. We snuck this into my parents' house while they were gone so that we could watch it on VHR.
Yeah.
Or VCR. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. But Tekken holds a Guinness Book of World Records as the longest running story in a video game without reboots, retcons, or revisions.
That's why you're great, Tekken.
Yeah. Right?
Thank you. That was Namco, right? Thank you, Namco.
Yeah. First covering the first 10 games until Tekken 8 was described as a story revolving around the Iron Fist tournament, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. So, pretty good. It also it sold the whole series 61 million copies by 2025, making it the third best-selling fighting game franchise. So, there we go. We're just going to quickly, I know you're looking it up.
Toro, I completely forgot about.
Fucking Matoro was in there too. Yes, he was.
Yeah, because this was
There was Kintoro, Matoro, Shiva.
And then we
and
had
Goro.
Sindel was the other main
Sindel
part of the movie.
was Katana's mom in the movie,
And Shao Kahn was just dick.
and Shao Kahn was
He was
one
the
of the
M Bisons.
one of the cheapest fucking bosses. I know I know.
Yeah.
One of the cheapest fucking bosses in fighting game history.
Yeah.
is Shao
Also
Kahn.
played by one of the action actors of the cheap variety, Brian Thompson.
Oh, it is him. Yes.
So this guy. Anyways, but he was like your poor man's Bruce Willis.
Yes. He was a B movie. You know how you had like Jean-Claude Van Damme and then the guy that took over for him in like Kickboxer 2 and 3? That was the
We're
equivalent.
not talking Tony Jaa. We're not talking Donnie Yen. We're
Nah.
talking these fucks.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
right now, our replacement from Canada for Jean-Claude Van Damme is going to be George St. Pierre. I'm just waiting for it.
He's not even Canadian.
George St. Pierre. It doesn't matter. I
No,
don't
but
care.
George St.
I know.
Pierre is.
Jean-Claude Van Damme was essentially Canadian. Okay, he's from Belgium. No one cares.
But we have a French province, so I guess everyone from France.
His last name is Van Damme. Good enough. We're taking him.
Were you also in the same boat where you thought Rob Van Dam was Jean-Claude Van Damme's
No.
brother? No.
But I did look it up.
Okay, I thought he was.
Thanks to wrestling ruining our minds,
fuck do they
anybody
look
who
the same?
wrestled we assumed was a superhero's brother.
Yeah, how the fuck do they look the same and they're not related at all?
You got the Shamrocks. Then you got the Lindrosses.
So-
We can keep going. Let's talk Eric Lindros.
Yeah. And so that's just like, you know what? No, I'm not even going to get sidetracked again. Virtual Fighter, all I want to mention about Virtual Fighter is it was the first 3D fighting game. Kind of started it all, 1993. And I believe it's not even a franchise today.
No, it was one and done, maybe two.
Two, with its sequel,
Okay.
Virtual Fighter 2. And then I think it was kind of done because I think it was released originally on the Sega Saturn.
Well, the thing is, we
Um,
talked about the consoles that didn't make it, that didn't quite make that pull.
Yeah.
Now, had Virtual Fighter gone through a
PlayStation
Nintendo or a
Nintendo?
PlayStation,
Maybe it might have went somewhere. But I just remember playing it at my grandpa's place in BC. It was on Sega Saturn. It was nothing special. I don't want to fucking, but it was nothing special. It wasn't.
he wants to shit on it. He just doesn't want to
I,
shit on it.
but I don't. I do.
It
but
was
I
a
don't.
necessity.
It was a necessity, but it was nothing special. It didn't like look up the characters. You're like, oh, okay. One character is from Canada though. His name was Wolf. He was like a wrestler from Canada. Anyway,
Well, but hang on. But T-Hawk, no, T-Hawk was Navajo.
T-Hawk was
Navajo or something, yeah, 'cause,
Navajo,
yeah.
Cherokee.
We couldn't even get the Indian guy. Anyways, it's now we can't get. Now we got too many.
Yeah.
Anyways, but we're gonna talk about the next one here because this one is one I didn't really play. I know he played
I
it,
played it.
but this one is kind of the cult classic.
Yeah.
Joe, talk to us about Soul Calibur.
Okay, so Soul Calibur again. Not going to talk about the first one because the first one was.
Twos are better than one.
Yes, it is, except for Mario 2. But we won't talk about that. So we'll just pretend that one doesn't exist. So 3 is now 2. So yes, 2 is always the best. That's how I'm going to think about it.
It's math. Yeah, two.
That's how
Three
I'm
is
gonna
two
think
now.
about it. So yeah, Soul Calibur 2. So Soul Calibur, again, a 3D fighting game. This one added weapons. Every character had a unique weapon. Every character felt different. You had from your bow staff to your sais to your nunchucks to your broadswords to your fencers. Raphael was like the fencer. Everyone had different moves. So I think her name was Ivy, had like a sword that turned into a whip, which was fucking cool. Every character looked different. Every character moved different. This one also had ring outs, so it was very important that you couldn't run, and I believe that's why they kind of added that game. So you had to fight, because a lot of people tried to make the time run out. They would hit you so much, and then they would block
I
or run
forgot
around,
about
right?
that. Yeah, you got the timer too.
Yeah. So a lot of people would cheat it that way, right? So with this game, it's like there's ring outs. So like, you fight or you die. Like it's just you try to run. If you run to the end, I'm just gonna drop kick you and you're gonna fall off. And it's not even like you had to hit them hard. I could just bump into you and you're gonna fall out of the ring, right? So they made it so you had to be close quarter combat, right? The game's plot revolves around the legendary weapon Soul Edge having been shattered into pieces, with different characters seeking to collect it. So that's the whole big thing. The game was a critical and commercial success with the introduction of guest. So this was the cool part. So it was released during the PS2, Xbox. Was it 360? No, regular Xbox, PS2, Xbox, GameCube era. When it released, another cool thing companies used to do is they added a special character to each one. So the GameCube had Link as a playable character. The Xbox had Darth Vader. I want to say it was Darth Vader. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Or is Yoda? One of those two. It was a Star Wars character. And the PlayStation 2 had Kratos as a character you could pick. So you could fight as them as well, which was really neat at the time. It's considered to be one of the greatest video games ever made. So again, number 2.
And we're talking Namco again. So Namco, thank you again.
Sorry, I forgot to mention who made these, but yes, Namco.
Neither did I. It just popped
Yeah.
up. I didn't even realize.
The GameCube version.
And Spawn was available too.
Spawn. Sorry. Okay, here. That's where I was wrong. Spawn was Xbox. PlayStation was Kratos, and GameCube was Link. Am I correct on that?
Heihachi Mishima.
Fuck my life. Yes. There was other ones, dude. Okay, look, I'm mixing them all up. It might have been 3. It might have been 4. Those ones, because I specifically remember also in one of those ones you could play as Darth Vader, you could play as Yoda, and Kratos. And yeah, it had to have been the next one, right?
12 of them were granted a third costume. Aseroth, Cassandra, Ivy, Mitsuguri, Nightmare, Raphael, Mina, Sophita, Taki, Talon, Valdo. But
okay,
which leads up perfectly because there's so many of them, Joe. Like I didn't even realize this many were in 2.
Oh yeah, there was a lot. Like Nightmare was like the big ass knight dude with like a big ass sword.
Necra didn't appear in the arcade version, only in the take homes.
There was Voldo. He had like 3 knives on each hand.
Yeah.
And he moved really creepily. Raphael was like the fencer. Then again, there was somebody with a bow staff. There was somebody with nunchucks. Like,
but everybody had a discipline.
Yes. And so again, I remember sitting at Sister High School. Paulo bought the screen attachment for the GameCube. And we would sit there and play Soul Calibur 2 over and over and over. We tried to play Mario Kart Dash, but splitting that small, like, 2 of these phones together screen into 4 just didn't work. So Soul Calibur, again, another great fighting game. Y'all should play it. I don't know how many more. There's 3 for sure.
Yeah.
There's 3. I don't know if they continued on. I know they remastered the GameCube one at some point, and Soul Calibur 3 came out in 2005. Other than that, I don't know if they made any more, and I'm shocked. I feel like they had to have.
So there seems to be 6 right now because they're asking if Soul Calibur 7's ever going to be made.
Jesus Christ! Okay,
but this is what we talked about. Like you get to a point where you've just remade the game so many times, like it's not the same game unless you can keep kind of that storyline. So we talked about Street Fighter. Street Fighter has always had the same people, same game. Like it's been relatively consistent. Then we talk about Mortal Kombat. That was overmade because they got to a point where everyone and anyone was going to be a character, and it's the same kind of thing.
And again, they just like with Mortal Kombat, their problem is like, yeah, they kept making more, so they had to add new characters, but like all they did was like we mentioned it before, like with the Ninja Clan. Yeah. Right? Like it just started off with Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and then they added Reptile, and then they added Ermac, and then they
because
added
back
Rain,
then we had to beat arcade mode and I needed all those people
Noob
to do
Saibot, and then like I can only imagine how many more there are now. And then the same thing with the Cyborgs, they did the exact same thing with them, right? Like it was like there's only, and then like after a while, I remember in 3 there was Stryker. Is Stryker really that good? He was a cop dude. He was the cop dude, right? Was Stryker really that good? I hated playing as him, right? Cabal, kind of cool, but still, right? But like, yeah, you get to a point with fighting games, and it really sucks that like, where do you go from there? Like,
but it's like comic book movies, dude. And I think this is, and and I hate to bring Deadpool into this because I did like Cable, but I think that was it, right? Deadpool got to that point. Hey, what other characters are cool that we didn't bring? Number 1, I would have liked to see was Lobo, but I guess DC.
Right. No. Yeah, DC. But again, I know what you mean, and it's that whole copyright thing, right? Like it's like
who can we pay for? Who owns who? Yeah. Does Sony own this? Does Marvel own? And that's been the problem because, and I think Soul Calibur really brought that out because we're going to move on to another game that really brought out the whole like it. I think it changed. It brought a whole new audience into fighting games. So let's talk about it. Let's talk Super Smash Brothers.
We're going to talk about Super Smash Brothers.
Because one thing like Soul Calibur is the cameos. People love fucking cameos. Now you had Super Smash Brothers that came with everyone on Nintendo, right? We could fight as Kirby. You could fight as literally Link. Fuck, who wasn't on like
The new
it
one,
had a
dude.
huge roster.
The new one for sure. The original one on the GameCube, I think it was just 8, dude. It was Yoshi, Mario, Ness, and nobody knew who Ness was at the time because Earthbound was in a huge
Oh
success,
yeah.
right? Pikachu, Jigglypuff,
Oh,
Luigi.
yep, you got Luigi.
Fucking. There was 8. There was for sure 8. Shit. Hold on. Dr. Mario and shit wasn't that part
There's
of that group.
actually 12.
There's fucking 12. Oh, Donkey Kong.
Yep.
Okay, I got 7
I
out of
think
12.
N64.
Star Fox.
Yep.
Falco.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the lineup. Ice Climbers? No. They're in Melee.
Metroid.
Metroid. Fucking asshole. Why am I dumb? Metroid. Link. I didn't. Nope. Was Link? Nope.
You named them all. So we had Jigglypuff, Captain
Okay.
Falcon, Ness, Luigi, and those were unlockable characters
Yeah.
in the first one.
Yes, you had.
But your main starters were Pikachu, Fox, Kirby, Yoshi, Samus,
Mhm.
Link, Donkey Kong, and Mario.
Yes. And so the thing with Smash Brothers, first of all, that's fucking awesome. The commercial is great. I don't know if you all want to watch the fucking commercial, because it's super funny, super great. The guys dressed up in like the costumes, beating the shit out of each other.
But that was what we wanted, right? You wanted a reason to have your friends come by and hook up 4 controllers.
Yeah.
And I think that this was it because we talked about when the first ones came out, it was more of an arcade style. Like it was
Mhm.
designed as a tournament style, so you played yourself and you unlocked the other people as you went.
Yeah. And there was
But-
just 1v1, this one. And so Smash Brothers is considered now, we're going to get into like whatever territory. Smash Brothers is considered a platform fighter.
Okay.
Because there's usually in every level there's multiple levels, right? You could jump onto the next part of the stage or whatever, jump down, whatever, right? So Smash Brothers made it easy for people to get into fighting games because of how the mechanics work. Now, if I recall correctly, A was your normal attack, and it added like a 3-hit combo or something like that. X and Y can be used interchangeably as jump. The Z button was your block button, but it was like a bubble.
Fuck the
Yeah.
Z button. Fuck the
Or-
Z button.
Z. 'Cause it was
Trigger.
the trigger, yeah.
We only had one trigger back in the
I'm
day.
thinking GameCube's up
Yeah.
there. It was back in the back, and that was your. Oh no, the right trigger was your block, but it created a bubble around you, and every time you got hit, the bubble got smaller until
It
you
blew.
got hit, right?
Yeah.
But to do special attacks, all you had to do was hit like up and B, left and B, down and B, and those were like your special attacks. And you could use them at any time. Like you didn't have to wait for a bar or anything. And the other thing that made Smash Brothers different is they added items to the fighting
Oh, yeah.
arenas. And you could customize them, right? But if you didn't customize them, now I'm going to name a few that they had. I don't remember them all. There was the Star Fox Blaster. I want to say there was a baseball bat.
I remember a baseball.
Yeah, okay. There was a star maybe, but anyways, the biggest one was the Pokeballs,
Yeah.
right? So me and my friends, what we used to do is we custom make a match, only use Pokeballs, and you would just Pokeballs would drop down, you drop them down at a high rate, and you just toss them, and they would pop out a Pokemon. It would be random, and then that would use their special move. But the big thing also with Smash Brothers is your health bar wasn't a bar; it was like a percentage of damage you take, and the higher percentage of damage you took, the least effort it was to knock you off the stage, right? So the point of the game was to not deplete you to 0, like in most fighting games. It was to get your damage high enough that I just had to hit you and you'd fly off the screen and you'd have lives. You'd have 3, 5,
Oh
10,
yeah, that's
whatever,
right. I
right?
remember that.
You could also do that too. And then each stage was made in particular to each character that was in the game, which was also really cool. So yeah, that one was the original in 64. The one that now I know I'm gonna say this and people are gonna be like, no, actually the Switch one is the one that people, and I believe there's still tournaments out there today, and people still would rather use a GameCube controller when they're playing it, is Super Smash Bros. Melee. Was I think the pinnacle of it. I've played a little bit of the new one, which I think is Smash Brothers Ultimate on the Switch. That one's got like 80 something fucking characters.
See, that's too much, guys.
40, 50 of them all use swords, right? Like it's like you got Cloud, Sephiroth, Roy, Marth, like Link, like
But
Toon
we
Link.
talked
like,
about the copyright, right? Like you want to bring in that, like as far as marketing goes, it's great. Like as many
Mhm.
superheroes as we can have at Comic Con.
Mhm.
But like you said, as it becomes saturated, and I think that's one thing we saw with Mortal Kombat, right? Between the games, just trying to bring in extra people, trying to rehash a story, and just so we can go back here to what was available during Super Smash Brothers. So some of the items that you could get were the beam sword. You had a home run bat. You had a fan. You had
Yeah.
a ray gun, fire flower.
Yes.
You had your super scope. You had a green shell, red shell, and Babam.
That's right.
Because everybody forgets Babam, and Babam has been one of the minimalist characters of life.
Remember how important that character was in the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Yeah.
1993. Everyone
no
forgot
one
about
thought-
it. It
Yeah.
shows up at the end.
You know, shout out John Leguizamo. Thank you for putting up with that shit.
That was a great movie. I read up a story about how that was made. It was not fun.
Oh, I believe it because it was
Not
actually
fun.
done in New York, I'm sure,
And-
with in traffic with real
A
people.
lot of them were just drunk most of the time because they hated doing the movie. So they just show up to set
because
drunk
there was probably
constantly.
no fucking money in it. But that's it. But this is the thing. Like when we talk about these games, and Joe's going to go on to his list of all the others.
Yes.
But these games were pretty much the core of when we grew up, what we were playing, and like I said, Super Smash Brothers came in and changed the game, and then we started seeing, you know, Halo, other stuff. Like we ventured more into a shooter kind of generation. After Super Smash Brothers, maybe, and I wouldn't even call Injustice. I can't put Injustice in that.
No,
But it
wasn't
is, but
a
it
good
isn't. It's
game,
like-
dude. No, I would say, and it didn't work out. But
No.
PlayStation came out with one called PlayStation All Stars.
Oh fuck, I do remember that.
where they had a bunch of PlayStation mascot
That's
characters.
how successful Super Smash
Yeah.
Brothers was.
Also, no, hold on. Warner Brothers they had one where it was like you could have Batman against Shaggy against
Bugs Bunny. Shit.
right. That was a one that didn't last, and I think there was a Nickelodeon one as well that obviously didn't last as well. So again, people have tried the formula, and that's the problem with fighting games. Is like when somebody gets a formula right, you have a bunch of people that try to copy it and saturate it, and it just like you won't make it.
But
Like, you
again,
won't.
but if not for Street Fighter, I don't think we'd have Mortal Kombat.
No, and if it, like, and then you wouldn't have the other games.
But even,
right?
and let's talk Super Punch Out because I don't think we've talked Super Punch Out, and I think Super Punch Out. Joe's gonna hate me because it is a sports game. But it's not a sports
yeah, I
game.
know you're gonna.
Oh, he's gonna get mad, guys.
Mm,
Why is it not one, Joe?
Why is it not a fighting game? It is not a fighting game because it has patterns. So I would consider it more a rhythm or puzzle game. Is how I would classify fucking
But
Punch-Out.
would a special move not be a pattern?
No. My problem is okay. Look, listen. I get what you're saying. Yes, you could classify it as a fighting sports game because it's boxing. Okay, sure, but you have Fight Night,
Mhm.
boxing game. You have Rocky, boxing game. You have even that fucking one that was on the GameCube with a bunch of weird characters. Ready to Rumble,
Oh,
boxing game. What are we talking about? Tyson's Mike? No, don't call it that. Punch Out. I ain't getting sued by him. Punch Out. The character did the same. Like it was a pattern recognition, right? It was 1, 2, dodge, 1, 2, dodge, 1, 2, 3, dodge. Like it. When you're playing Mortal Kombat against a computer, there's no fucking pattern. Like you can't. The only pattern recognition is if I do this, they might do that, right? So it's like if I throw a punch, they could do one of two things. They're gonna try to leg sweep me, or they're gonna try to do something else, right? Like but in Mike Tyson's Punch Out, it's like the character's gonna come at me, he's gonna do a pattern, and then I'm gonna dodge, and I'm gonna hit 1, 2, 3, and then I wait, and then he does his second pattern, then he does his third pattern, then he does his special move. Yes, but again, it's more of a memory pattern game, so I consider it more a rhythm or a puzzle game in my defense. But you keep going. You can keep going. I'm
I
just
don't
going
need to.
to
I think I
say,
made my point
I'm
already.
just
You're
going to say, because even if I'm trying to think, like, even if it came out today, the only thing that made Punch Out special is because it was like that. If it came out today and it came out more of a fight night or Ready to Rumble style with the same characters, I don't know if it would have the same appeal. You know what I mean? Like, you might play it, but it wouldn't feel right. Right? Because now it feels more like a boxing fighting game where the other one was more of a pattern recognition sort of game, right? You play like UFC, you play like because again, you could call UFC a sports
compare it
game
to
or a fighting
Tekken.
game. Compare Punch Out to Tekken.
Yeah.
Okay, again, same thing. Like when I'm fighting a PC character, I don't want to use the word AI character because it's not an AI character. So CPU, I know a lot of people use the term like, oh, that character's AI. The CPU character, whatever you want to call it, the computer, whatever you want to call it. When you're fighting it, again, it's not like he's going to come at me with the same fucking combos all the time, right? Like he's going to react to what I'm doing, and I'm going to react to what he's doing. Like, and then in Punch Out, it's a pattern thing. I just got to sit there and wait, right? I'm not going to throw a punch, and I just got to sit there and wait. He's going to throw his two punch combo. Okay, boom, 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 boom. I hit him. Okay, now he's going to throw his 4 punch combo. Boom, 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 boom. Because they had their tells. They would have their tells. He would like twitch his eye, or you'd like do one of those things, right? So like it's more again, it's more of a pattern recognition. When I'm fighting a computer in like a Mortal Kombat game, he could throw a punch at me. Yeah, okay, but it doesn't mean he's going to throw a kick at me right away. Like he could throw a punch at me and then sweep my leg. Yeah, he could throw a punch at me or grab me. Like there's too many variables in a fighting game. There's not that many variables in Punch Up.
Fair.
It's just a pattern recognition. I don't know how many more times I gotta say. Just a pattern recognition game.
As
You
many
watch
times as you need to believe it.
you watch people speed run that game, and it's because they remembered what that character is gonna do, right? You could watch people speed run. Okay, I just caught myself. You could watch people speed run.
Gotcha, bitch.
You could watch people speed run in the old Mortal Kombat. Yes, but again, that's a I'm tricking the computer to do something I want him to do. You can't trick the computer in Punch Up. They're going to do what they're going to do, and it's just pattern, and it's just
And
rinse and repeat.
Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2, I don't know how the mechanics work in that game. I know again in Mortal Kombat, they set it up that like if I input I'm going to throw a punch, the computer automatically already knows and they're going to do something to deflect that punch. But so the trick with Mortal Kombat is I'm going to throw a punch because I know the computer is going to block, right? He's going to block it, right? He might sweep the leg, but listen up. He's going to block it. Now, I want him to block it because once he blocks it, I know where his opening is, and that's where I'm going to start to cheese it, and I'm going to start to do my repetition shit,
Cheese it is what he
right?
calls it.
So when you watch people speed run Mortal Kombat, it's they trick the computer into doing something that they wanted them to do, and then they caught them in an infinite loop to defeat them quick. It's how they speed run in that game, right? So I know I'm gonna catch myself. But anyways, I'm not gonna keep talking because I'm gonna catch myself because I just remembered something in Punch Out that kind of relates to that. And it's kind of the same thing. But it's different.
It's okay. Dan's right. Anyways, we'll let Joe continue to go on with his list of randos because he's had a long fucking day and I can see the smoke coming out.
Yeah, okay, fucking Google. No, we're not gonna do this. I was gonna say Google is Punch Out a fighting game right now. Is Nintendo NES and it's going to kick me in the ass. It's going to be like, well, technically, yes, it's a fighting game because blah 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 blah.
Yes, Super Punch Out is classified as an arcade-style boxing and fighting game.
No.
While it differs from traditional fighting games like Street Fighter because you don't face an opponent on an equal playing field with multiple standard buttons and combos, it is an action-oriented, reflex-based one-on-one combat game.
Mm,
So if you control, shut up, you had your
action-based
time.
combat.
In Super Punch Out, you control a boxer working your way up the World Video Boxing Association ranks, much like you would in tournament style, anyways. Instead of a straight up slugfest where it acts somewhat like a reflex puzzle or rhythm game. Yeah, this is a lot later after the definition there. Just ease up on you.
I'm just
But it
saying.
is, but it doesn't negate the fact that that was one of the first fighting style games we had.
I will. What's the word? Kneel
Concede.
down, defer, concede.
You can kneel.
That
okay.
in the very very basic term, Punch Out is a fighting game, just like Smash Brothers is a fighting game, just like fucking whatever, like whatever.
This is manslaughter versus
fighting,
murder,
right?
buddy. Like
Right?
we can make a case either way.
It's that argument of like, well, what's an RPG nowadays? Everything's a fucking RPG. What's an
Nothing
action?
is an RPG.
What's an action game? Anything with action, right? So it could be Contra, it could be fucking Ninja Gaiden, it could be
Let's talk about remaking Contra next, because Contra was another one of those rhythm-based ones where you would remember. And this is but when we grew up, and that was the thing with Nintendo. Nintendo was a rhythm-based kind of system.
Yeah, it was again. It
wanted kids to play. It wanted kids to beat it.
And it was yeah, it's pretty tough. But yes, you are correct. It was more of a memory-based game. Right, because the program only does what they programmed it to do. Like there wasn't much they could do with it. Games nowadays, they could write a bunch of different code for like an enemy, right? Play a Dark Souls game or something like that. Something they pull moves out of their ass that you've never seen before, right? Yeah. But in like Contra, like you said, like I know if I run this way, the enemies are coming from here, and 5 seconds later there's going to be another enemy here, and then oh yeah, that's right, that helicopter's flying over top, like. Yes, it's
so
more.
We'll call them an arcade fighter.
Yeah. Again, like the Nintendo games were more, again, like I said, memory based. Like they had their thing, action, whatever, blah blah blah. But it was just like if you remembered the sequence, you'll beat the game, right? Like it's.
And that was it. But I think that was just the generation of game that in which it came out, because then we talked about Fight Night and stuff like that, which take a totally different turn. Like Fight Night was an amazing boxing game.
Yes.
But I'll let Joe continue, because since then we have had a bunch of those, right? And the next one he's going to talk about is something like that. We got to this crossover, and for anybody who's about the same age of us, the greatest crossover in the history of crossovers is Flintstones and the Jetsons.
Oh my God, yes. Okay, I thought you were gonna piss me off for a second, but you were correct.
I still can, but I'm not. I got shit to do after this, but we're gonna.
Yeah,
but that's it. But that kind of crossover was, even when they came back with The Simpsons and they brought Family Guy on, right? Every franchise at some point that has been successful has had to do the crossover, right? Soul Calibur would be a multi-platform crossover. Same with Super Smash Brothers, and now the next one that Joe's going to talk to you.
So the next one, and again, people our age, maybe even younger, might know, is Marvel versus Capcom. This was fucking huge. I think before this there was like Marvel Superhero or something, but like this Marvel vs. Capcom was fucking huge. You had Spider-Man fighting Mega Man.
This was the competition for Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, and I didn't write down the date that it came in because I just made a list.
It was later. Super Smash Brothers came first. I can probably.
But like you had fucking Wolverine fighting. I don't know. Like now in the third and fourth one, they're like Wolverine fighting Jill Valentine. Like it's like you can't beat that, right? Like it's any one of your favorite Capcom characters fighting any one of your favorite Marvel characters. Now I know they kind of went off the deep end with the last one. I don't think people really liked the last one. I think that was the third one. I think it was 3 or 4. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or something. But again, it was huge. You could pick with this one. It was more of a tag team style. So you pick 2 or 3 characters. I can't remember. I think it's 2.
I thought it was 2 first.
Yeah. So, you could have, again, I'll go say, like, I'm going to fight as Wolverine and Mega Man. And that's my team. And each one of them had, like,
they had a team
move, right? The other one was, like, a lot of people like to use Iron Man. in this one because like he had like the fucking mega.
Yeah, Iron Man and
fucking,
Thor had something they do. Yeah.
you know what I mean. So like this one was huge. It was out in the arcades first again, like always, and then it got ported to I believe like the PlayStation system. So that's how.
So the original rosters for Marvel was Captain America, Gambit, Hulk, also the Orange Hulk,
Cool.
Spider-Man,
Uh-huh.
Venom, War Machine with the gold variant, and Wolverine.
Okay.
Now, Capcom was Captain Commando,
Yes.
Chun-Li,
Mm-hmm.
Jin,
Mm-hmm.
Mega Man, Morgan from Lilith, Roll, Ryu, Strider,
Yes.
and Zangief, but with also a mech Zangief.
Yeah, I do. Okay, I do. And I remember when you said Jin, he was like dressed all in white. Some of them were obscure to us because these games, like, like Strider did come out in North America, but it didn't make the wave that it did, right? Jin, I don't remember where Jin's from, but it's a very obscure game to us. I think it's kind of a popular franchise in the Asian market, but like, but just again, another random more that you said Morgan. I could picture her. I'm pretty sure she's got green hair. She's from the Guilty Gear fighting series, which that's another fighting series I never played. But yeah, so this game was huge, took over. I believe there was like another one. Like I said, there was like a Marvel
Well,
superhero
that's what it
one.
was. It was
Yeah,
a superhero clash or
yeah.
whatever it
So,
was. But that was the gimmick, right? Where we had Nintendo's
mm-hmm.
top 20 going at it. We had the same from Capcom and Marvel.
Yeah.
And I just found something out. No one entity owns Capcom.
There. Wait, what? No one entity
Owns the characters of Capcom. So like what we talked about with so Spider-Man's owned by Sony.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So that's why you'll always see Sony. It's never going to be. Marvel needs Sony's permission to use Spider-Man.
Yes.
Right? And I can't remember what it was with DC. There's one. I wanted to say Superman was owned by someone else. I'm probably wrong on that. But it was either Superman or Batman. But they had, or no, maybe it was Paramount. Maybe Paramount owned one of them. Anyways, it's all good now. But that was the issue. So when we got the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, that wasn't a Marvel movie, right?
Yes.
Until we got into, I don't even think the or the Andrew Garfield ones crossed over.
Nope.
Yeah, because they had their own villains, they had their set villains, right?
Yeah.
It was always going to be the same. It was going to be Hobgoblin, it was going to be Vulture, Rhino.
That's who they own the rights to. Because again, Marvel owned the rights to some, and Sony owned. That's why you had the more because they tried the whole villain series with Morbius, the Hunter dude, which I still haven't watched that movie. Craven, Madame Web.
Yeah,
which I've never watched.
But that's it. And if you guys have ever want to watch a good documentary, there's like an Injustice documentary where it talks about all the supervillains and they rank like the top 50 of them. But that's it. And with games like this, and Joe's got a few more here, kind of, he'll talk about it. But
I just want to bring them up because I don't
think
people...
talk about them and then we'll close out.
Yeah, I just don't think people really remember them, and I just want to bring them up because some of them were really bad and some of them were kind of cool first time. Anyways. So the first one I want to bring up is Clay Fighters. If nobody remembers this, it was made by the same people that I believe made Claymates. If nobody remembers that, the graphics were like clay, right? So
Celebrity Deathmatch. Think Celebrity Deathmatch.
So the fighters in like Clay Fighters were like Jack Frost. He was like an evil like clown. You had like the Blob. You had like Tiny, who was like think like Freak Show and like Oddity Oddity characters, and that's who was in this. The game ran like shit. They made one for the 64 called the Clay Fighters 63 and a third, which also sucked. They had like a character that looked like fucking Elvis. Like it was just really bad. They had one that looked like Laffy Taffy. He was supposed to be like Gumbo. What's his name?
Gumby.
Gumby. He was supposed to kind of be like.
We all forgot about Gumby.
Yeah, right. So it's just like it was one of those games. Just go look up videos of it. Like don't play it because you're going to be aggravated. Don't play it, but just look up videos.
There's a reason they didn't make 8 of them.
Yeah, they made 2. One for the Super Nintendo, one for the 64, and then they kind of called it quits. They also did make one, sorry, I think the one for the 64 or something was just a Blockbuster exclusive.
See, and this is the thing, because there was, again, back in the day, we had exclusives.
Yeah.
Because what Lion King 1.5, didn't we only have to sell that through Walmart at one point for your dad?
Yeah, there
You could
was
only get it at Walmart.
something weird like that. But yeah, Clay Fighter 63 and a third, I think, was just a Blockbuster exclusive. You could only rent it at Blockbuster, and if you have that copy, it's probably worth a lot of money.
Joe's buying.
Dude, I probably had that at one point, and I fucking gave it away. Um, the second one I want to talk about, again, just quick thing. I'm going to talk about it. Y'all should look them up. Was Primal Rage. Primal Rage tried to take what Mortal Kombat did, but with animals. So
I just looked this up, and the first thing I think about is the one with the gorilla. You had the gorilla. They made a movie with The Rock.
Rampage. Rampage, yeah.
And I'm going to show you why. Because this was the screen that is a super gorilla fighting a dinosaur.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is what we wanted as children because they told us not to imagine things, so we went video games.
Yeah, so I can't remember all the characters. There was 2 gorillas, there was 2 or 3 different dinosaurs, and then there was some other characters. But it was made kind of almost, it looked kind of like a mix between Clay Fighters and like Mortal Kombat, like the graphics. But what they tried to do was make it like angsty, like, okay, let's just put it this way. They tried to add fatalities. And one of the fatalities was because I believe the monkeys were like radioactive monkeys or acid. No, one of the monkeys spit acid, had acid running through him. And one of the fatalities was after you like knock down the character, is he peed on the character until he turned into bones. So like they tried to take that,
and this is why we got game ratings.
And so they tried to take the Mortal Kombat thing and put it to animals, and again, didn't work. Very fucking clunky. Very like. It was really bad, but look up videos, or if you could get emulators.
And remember, guys, we grew up in the day and age where things were, we're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what's stuck.
Yeah, so that one didn't last, obviously. And then there was Rival Schools. Again, this one's a hidden gem. You don't know this one. It was on the PlayStation. Rival Schools, I believe, is an anime in Japan. And it's exactly kind of what you think about. It's just rival schools. Like every school hates each other and they set up fights. So you got like the baseball guy fighting like the fucking soccer guy, and you got like shit like that, right? So like the baseball guy, his moves were like he's got a bat and like you like swing and hit balls at you and shit like that. It was a really cool game. It was in 3D. Go look it up. Really super cool. Really underrated. The last couple ones I want to mention because I know we're gonna close this out. Were the Dragon Ball series. There was a bunch.
All right, Dragon Ball did a lot of things wrong, including the first live action movie, but.
What were they thinking with that? Don't mention that because I could go on a rant with that shit.
We're gonna do it eventually.
I could go on a rant with what would they? Okay, anyways.
We're gonna talk movies soon, guys.
Yeah,
we're getting
so
there.
Dragon Ball, again, a bunch of different series, a bunch of fucking back from like the early 90s all the way till now, right? So a couple ones that came to my mind were Dragon Ball GT Final Bout. There's a 3D fighting game. You can do inputs and you do like the crazy super special moves. I kind of remember it. It was kind of loosely based on the show, I think, but not really. Anyways, there was Ultimate Battle 22. I played this game burnt at a friend's place. I'm pretty sure I stole it from his place after. But it was like a 2D kind of sprite fighting game where you could fly up and down again. Really cool, but like you look back at it now, not good. The Budokai series, I think there's 3 or 4 of them. Kind of same thing as Final Bout. I believe they're like more 3D-ish, more characters, whatever, Super Saiyan 3, this and that. And then the Xenoverse series. Now, I believe the Xenoverse stuff is the stuff that you're watching now at Evo fighting tournaments and stuff, which looks like the anime. And the moves are like the anime, and you do like the collision moves and like blah, 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 and you do super fast fighting and all this other shit. So go check all those games. That's what I got I got so many more, but that we're already running like an hour and 40 minutes. So
he thinks we got a fucking time limit on this shit. They only listen for 19 minutes on average.
Yeah, I know, but like you're the one that edits it, and I don't want it to be like.
I just upload now because guess who's editing this time?
Oh, am I?
Oh, who's got the file, bro?
I mean, like Cindy, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
You gotta teach me how to edit then. I don't know how to fucking edit.
I have to learn myself. Joyce, bro. It's like I don't teach you guys how to stream.
I thought we had a guy for this. We don't have a guy for this? No, not me and not you. I thought we had a guy.
A Noble? No, Noble's my guy.
I thought an adjacent he was our guy, right? Anyways, I'll make friends with Noble. It's fine.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna get. No, can you please edit this video, Dan? Let me to do this. But anyways, guys, we'll get it done. I'll do it because it's just easier, and hopefully now we can just make a TikTok where I can just sit on top of Joe's face. Now he seems like he wants to be a good bottom, but like every other good fighting game, it came through trial, and the '90s were really its own death pit. Like we talked about how Tekken got 8. I don't remember past Tekken 4.
No, and we didn't even touch on Tekken Cross Street Fighter, which I think was a game.
But this was the beauty with those fighting games is you had that crossover cameo feel to a lot of them. But growing up, in my opinion, Mortal Kombat, best franchise for fighting. Joe is going to be mad at me. That's okay.
I want to try to
Because the
figure out
problem
where
is
it
Mortal
was.
Kombat was like the game whore. There was always one, you could always find one to like. And when we talk about, was it Shaolin or with the Wu Tang, because that was a Mortal Kombat crossover, was it not? Am I crazy? Wu
I
Tang
think
had their own fighting game.
I think it
was
was like
fucking gangsta.
inspired, dude. I think it was like inspired by it because, and I want to argue with you because I'd be like, no, Street Fighter is, but like,
No, it was its own. It was Shaolin style was its own
yeah,
thing.
and like I want to argue with you with that, but like I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, without the Mortal Kombat series, we wouldn't have Injustice.
Yep.
We wouldn't have Mortal Kombat versus DC.
I don't
which was
think
also a
without
game.
Street Fighter they would have tried so hard.
Yeah, yeah,
Without
yeah.
Street Fighter they wouldn't have brought up a movie.
So
Because Mortal Kombat, the first movie, was way better than Street Fighter's movie.
yes.
And then they tried too hard with Annihilation. And
Yeah.
there was another one after that, wasn't there? Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just a video game.
No, because then they went to the
Yeah.
animated series.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then they went to that live action one,
And then they came back,
they came
yeah.
back with this reboot.
Thank fuck, because the new one looks pretty good. But no holding of my breath. But that's it. But we're coming into an age now where a lot of these games are going to get remade, redone. We're looking at the Marvel world shifting. We're looking DC's eventually going to have to shift into a younger generation. But even now, and I think Disney Plus was a horrible thing for the world. No offense, but
I think Disney buying Marvel was a fucking horrible thing.
everything that came out, much like Mortal Kombat did, it's just too much. You've diluted the story. It's not the same story. If you're going to make a new movie, just make a new movie. But this DLC shit, and this is the one thing that I can actually admire about these fighting games, was the fighting games. There was the rare add-on, but when we got released a cartridge, that was it.
That was it. And you
The
just unlock
unlockable
everything in there.
characters, yep.
That's it.
And for $39.99, or going to Blockbuster and getting a Portuguese guy, to cut the back and get you the game. We won't name any names, but anyways, like we
I
talked
know
about, we came from an age where pre-PlayStation, who would you give it to? Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat?
Oh man, like
They were both so influential. Like that's the thing.
And like my heart says Street Fighter, but my gut says Mortal Kombat, and that's the tough part, because like Street Fighter to me, just because it was brighter, the music is fucking awesome, and I'm a video game music guy, so that's why like my heart is like it's Street Fighter, but my gut's like Mortal Kombat tried different things and like they mix and match to see what
They had
worked,
a bigger
right?
universe. The problem with Street Fighter is it was humans fighting humans, right? You had your special, but with Mortal Kombat, you had a guy that could rip off his mask, shoot fire, grab a fucking chain, and drag you closer.
There's just more things you could do with Mortal Kombat than you can with Street Fighter. Yeah, unless you want to start adding like, because again, Akuma was just a person that has like bad chi or whatever it was, and like, yeah, you're right. Like Blanka was a science experiment, but other than Blanka, like who else is like a weird ass fucking creature in that game?
Vega was always the androgynous one. We didn't know if you were getting beat by a guy or a girl.
Yeah.
It spent long time, many debates.
Sagat's the best character ever. I'm just gonna say that in Street Fighter. I don't give a fuck what everybody says.
No, and it is. But that's it, because if you're going to cheese, you're going to use Delzine. Honda was okay if you could get them pinned against and just start fucking. But that's it. But those games were beautiful in their simplicity, and I think Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
took that to another
I'm gonna
level.
I'm gonna give it to
I'm,
Mortal Kombat.
and we have to, just because of the sheer size of the franchise. If Mortal Kombat first movie didn't do as well as it did, it would have been comic book style. I think
Mhm.
they'd still be doing, but it's that arcade style that still comes out today. And we've talked some arcade games, we've talked, numerous games, but now it's time to switch, motherfuckers. So we've talked about arcade games. We're gonna bring it back into comic books and movies next week. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Oh my goodness, dude, that's huge.
and
That's
then we're gonna
huge.
do Transformers,
huge.
and then we're gonna go.
That's huge. That's huge. That's a huge fucking
It's probably gonna be a
topic.
two-parter.
That's a huge fucking topic. There's so much to it. There's so much in the hidden stuff and the underground stuff and the last Ronin. And oh my god.
But that's when they took a show and turned it into a video game.
And the video games that came out and the shows that came. Oh my god, dude. That's too much. Okay, I'm excited. Okay, we can do it.
Don't I need your fucking permission. But anyways, guys, we're gonna start to shift out of video games because I want to kind of keep it to the time. So the 90s, the 2000s, we're gonna do, and now we're gonna see the evolution because we can sit here and talk about the evolution of Capcom, Marvel, but there are so many like comics from Mosaic and other places that no one really talk about that were, Dick Tracy. If I say the word Dick Tracy, there's not going to be too many people that know that anymore. But that was his own thing. Without Dick Tracy, I don't feel like we would have ever gotten Sin City.
I have a fucking dude. I have a fun fact about Dick Tracy. So Warren Beatty, whatever his name is, the guy who wrote, directed, and like starred in it or whatever. There he found a loophole because I guess people wanted to make new movies or whatever, like whatever the production company wanted. He found a loophole in his contract with his lawyers, and it was something like if he at least made some sort of content with Dick Tracy every about 10 years, nobody else could do anything with it. So what he does is about every 10 years or so, he dresses up as Dick Tracy. He goes on some random talk show, like interview show, right? Does an interview kind of talking like Dick Tracy, but not really, right? And then they air it at like 2 in the morning when nobody's gonna watch it. And then once they air it, it's like, okay, nobody could do anything with this fucking franchise for the next 10 years.
And we're gonna do a vigilante episode, but what else is Dick Tracy? If it wasn't for Dick Tracy, we wouldn't have gotten the Shadow.
The Shadow, which
The
I
Green
think they're
Hornet?
redoing it, right? I think they're
I hope so. Okay, so Green Hornet. Thank you, Seth Rogen, again.
again, he cared about it, and that was a great movie. It was fun.
And it's all it needed to be.
Yep.
It didn't need to be anything more.
It didn't need to be a franchise. It just needed to be a fun movie.
And that's it. But anyways, guys, we're not sure what episode it is, but it is the end of whatever the fuck episode this is. We want to thank you guys. We're slowly, like I said, we're gonna start shifting gears a bit. Like I don't want to.
I mean, we'll go back to games, but we're gonna shift and talk about.
We're getting more into the
movies and
franchise,
shows and
like because when we
toys.
talk about GI Joes, we talk about
Mhm.
even toys that turned into movies that they made the video game just for the sake of making the video game,
Masters
but-
of the universe.
right?
Again, we're
The
gonna get
toys
into all that
sold.
stuff.
When we talk Mattel, the toys are what sold. The story came after the toy, and I think that's one thing. Masters of the Universe is actually a great thing. But we're gonna come back. Probably next week, depending on
Availability.
availability, age,
Yeah.
all kinds of shit.
Life.
Yeah, but other than that, that was what we got to say for retro fighting games today. If we missed anything, you don't agree with us, put us in the comments. We don't fucking read them anyways. And if we do, it's probably going to be to fucking troll you. But that being said, I think that we've pretty much talked about all. Like you can go and you can break it down into every Brawlhalla and all this shit. It doesn't fucking matter. Without Street Fighter, without Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Soul Calibur,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have the fighting games we have today. And I think we can say that because one, we didn't talk about. You remember when you had that little virtual pad? Stick Fighter.
Oh, Stick Fighter.
Where Joe would sit in a hexagon and he would fight.
Yeah.
So VR
yeah,
came out in the
yeah,
early
yeah,
90s.
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a flop, 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 flop,
Huge
floppity,
flop.
floppity, floppity,
Huge
flop.
flop. in the hexagon thing.
Because you only had 3 games or whatever it was, and we talked about that in episode 1. If you don't have the games, you're not going to sell.
Yeah, you ain't gonna sell, man.
Sega had the games. Sega had a lot of crossover, right? We talked about how it had Mortal Kombat. It didn't have Street Fighter.
It didn't have franchises like Nintendo did, and it
Other
also,
than Sonic,
it also fucked itself with trying to come up with too many systems at once. But again, it didn't have the franchises that Nintendo did.
but it is still a fan favorite. But yeah, like I said, with all of these, that is the end of this episode. We'll probably touch base on it again. Because after talking about Primal Rage, all I think about right now is Turok, which was another
Dude,
great
and
hunting
they're
game.
remaking that one too.
Because you have to. We got to a point we've used the story. There's gonna be new fucking hobbits taking the ring to a new fucking mountain.
Dude, yes, and because they're okay. I could keep going on and on. With
But we
news.
can't.
Yeah.
Because I gotta go to bed. He's
Yeah.
gotta go to bed because he's got a job tomorrow. I don't know if I do yet. But either way, we will figure this out. If not, we'll be back here next week. Don't know what episode, but we thank you guys for tuning in. This is our first in-studio session. Let us know how it sounds. Let us know what do you guys think. Should we do it more often? Should I get Joe to buy a bunch of shit to put in the background? I don't know. We're going to ask his wife.
Should we
But
do
it's
it
gonna-
live? We
This-
could also do
We
it
could
live.
do it live. The problem with live, okay, and here's the deal, fuckers. If we do this live, I'm not reading the fucking comments, questions, and shit. You guys can comment. It's going to be moderated, but we're here to fucking record because last time we did this live, it was a fucking shit
That was
show.
the first episode, and that's why we haven't posted it.
It's the first origin story we never talk about. Without that episode, there wouldn't be this today, but we don't need to talk about that episode. It's like Mario before he was Mario. He was just a fucking plumber. Nobody gives a shit. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I do have some news coming soon.
Oh. I know. Yeah, you could keep me hanging. I don't think I know what it is. I don't.
And it's going to hit him like a ton of bricks. But it's
Oh,
going to be
no.
amazing.
I
You'll
hope
see it on one of our recordings coming soon.
I hope it's money.
How much money do you think I make on you?
I don't know, dude. Like a lot. Look at me. I'm awesome. I thought we
could. We just have to do this, and I have to do this full time. We could just put you on a couple hours a day. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get some new merch out. But the one thing we are, and I've already kind of talked to you about this. I have brought in a band to do our background music.
You did kind of talk to me
Yeah.
about it, yes.
So that is one thing we're gonna do. We're gonna try to build this up, like a real show because, like I said, everybody had to start somewhere. We've come pretty far with this. We're gonna keep doing this, but we're gonna kind of veer off video games for a little bit so we can talk about other shit like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, some toys,
Maybe some Beast Wars.
maybe some Beast Wars because this is
maybe a little
boy.
reboots, right? Yeah, dude. Maybe a little reboot talking because that was a fucking phenomenal show.
Catch you guys next week.
Bye bye.
See, now you can see me hit the fucking